Hey everybody, we're gonna taste another wine tonight, but in addition to talking about the wine, I'd also like to talk about a great question that came from Heidi's sister after our recent post. And the question was, how long does a wine last after you've opened the bottle? It's a very common question. I've been asked that many times before, but I would say it's especially relevant right now because here we are all stuck at home and in a situation where we're not going out, so we're drinking with our loved ones or we're drinking alone and we're tasting through wines that we've had, and so we want to know how long it lasts. And it's hard to say, and it varies from wine to wine. I would say the majority of the wines that you purchase from the store, $15 a bottle or under, for the most part, once you open it, you got 2 days, maybe 3 days left in it before it starts to turn. That applies to white wine and or red wines. But that's not always the case. Some wines, especially a little bit more expensive wines that come from better appellations or better regions that make better wines, they can last for 3 to 5 days once they're open. And in fact, I'd even argue that some like really good structured red wines that I've had, that have had a lot of body to them, a lot of tannins and good acidity level, they're almost like better with each day. They might be slightly muted at first, and then when you taste it on the second night, it's like, wow, this is a lot more interesting. Sometimes even on the third night, you're like, wow, this is a really, really good wine. It starts to oxidize a little bit, but that sometimes benefits. And it's kind of similar to when you go to a restaurant and order an expensive bottle of wine and they pour it into a decanter. This is a decanter, and it really lets the wine aerate on a bigger, broader surface level and really lets it express itself, which I've also, wine classes and tastings I've done in the past, compare that to, this was something I used to do a lot more when I had young children, compare that to a 3-year-old toddler in a straitjacket. And don't get me wrong, I never put any of my kids in a straitjacket, I swear. But I remember when my son was 3 years old and he was just, all he wanted to do was run around the house, play with his toys, throw his arms in the air and scream because he wanted to express himself. Well, if you took that toddler and made him sit in a straitjacket, he would feel completely muted and not able to show his true self. That is wine, my friends. Wine is put in a bottle and it is corked and sealed and then put on a shipping container from France or from Italy or Australia or wherever, and goes for weeks upon weeks and not able to release its true character. So when you finally open a bottle of wine, that's what's happening. So when you open a bottle of wine and enjoy it over the next couple of days, that is what happens. But there are times when you have a very nice bottle of wine, like the wine we're tasting tonight. This is a French Burgundy. Burgundy, France is known for producing some of the greatest Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in the world. This is from a specific appellation within Burgundy called Coravin, which is in the Côte de Beaune region of France. And this is a region that's known for some of the most elegant, feminine, perfumey, floral Pinot Noirs in the world. They're amazing. They're not full-bodied, but they're incredible. And they have all these primary and secondary flavors that are really, really good and express themselves beautifully. But this is not a cheap bottle of wine. This is a $40, maybe $50 bottle of wine in some markets. I ordered it from a wine club. I don't know much about the producer. I've never had it before, but I'm really, really excited to try it. But I want to try it tonight. I want to have a glass with it tonight, but I don't necessarily want to drink the whole bottle or even open it for the next couple of days. So I'm going to use something called a Coravin, possibly the greatest invention in fine wine ever. And if you are stuck at home and want to enjoy your wines, go online and order one of these. I never plug anything, but if it's going to encourage you to try some of your better wines and even maybe purchase more expensive wines that you can really enjoy and savor, this is the answer, okay? What it does is it has a sharp pinpoint needle in here that penetrates the foil of the bottle into the cork, and then it enables you to pour the wine while also releasing an argon gas to preserve and seal the wine as if you've never ever opened it. And it truly works. It's not perfect. It makes a wine last maybe 4 weeks to 2 months versus 2 days to 4 days, which is much, much better. So what I'm gonna do, and actually I had a glass of this wine last night. I already did this, so I'm showing you also that this is something you can do again and again. Once you Coravin a wine and taste it, you take it out and try it again. But let me show you how you do it. So what you do is you clamp the top of the bottle so that the base of the needle sits right on top of the foil and the cork of the wine. And then you slowly push the needle into the cork. Sometimes it takes a little elbow grease, but you get it right in there, okay? This is the spout of which you then pour yourself a glass of wine. Thank you, honey. First though, this is important. You release some gas, and as you're pouring, you're also releasing gas into the wine to seal the wine in the bottle. So first you tip the wine over the glass so you don't make a mess, all right? And then you release a little gas and it pours right into the glass. It's slow, it takes a couple of times. Typically for a good sized glass of wine, you wanna do this like 3, maybe 4 times, depending on the size of glass you want, but that's about it, okay? I'm just gonna do a couple right now. All right, and then I'll tip it back up. And as you see, because of the gas, the argon gas, again, odorless, tasteless, perfectly harmless to the wine. As it releases to the wine, it seals the wine as if the bottle was never opened. And then you can remove the needle from the bottle, and it's as if the wine was never opened. You can have a glass tomorrow night, you can have a glass 3 weeks from now when you have hopefully friends over, we'll see. But there you have it the same. So I'm now gonna taste this wine because I love Burgundy. I love Burgundy. It's probably one of my first true passions of wine. When I first tasted Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, which is the white wine of Burgundy, France, it was almost like I tasted something I never tasted before, because good Pinot Noir is amazing, but from a good producer and a good vintage of wine, a good vintage of Pinot Noir from Burgundy, you get the most enjoyable, exotic, amazing aromas, like right out of the bat. I mean, before I even get to the fruit, and the fruit is there, it's got a deep core of really nice red fruits, but I'm smelling like a campfire and a pine forest and just earthy, exotic notes that you really get from Burgundy. Like, here it is outside, it's rainy and cold all day long. That's what the climate's like in Burgundy, France. It's just the most nasty climate you ever want, but that nasty climate is so amazing for hard or slow to ripen grapes, actually quick to ripen grapes that need a slower ripening process like Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And when you do that, it slowly develops all these amazing exotic terroir flavors. Terroir is basically everything that impacts the flavor of the wine except for the grape itself. The vine age, the soil types, the nearby surroundings, that all comes through in this. And again, I'm just smelling like exotic fruits, herbs, spice, toasty oak, grilled bread. But then it's also like gentle and elegant. Cranberry, tart cherries, a little cola, almost like a little meatiness to it as well, like roasted meats. Long finish from the oak, lasts for a very long time. Burgundy's finicky. Not all Burgundies are great every year. They're very susceptible to vintage, but this is showing very, very well. Still has plenty of years left in it, but if you ever want to try Pinot Noir that's unlike most Pinot Noirs you've ever had from California or wherever else, try Burgundy, France. Chory-le-Beaune is a great appellation that doesn't cost too much, like some Burgundies that can be in the hundreds of dollars, but this is darn good. And I'm gonna enjoy this glass and save a second glass, I think, for tomorrow night, and maybe a third glass for next month because of my trusty Coravin. So cheers, enjoy everybody, have a great night.